and welcome back to the For the Badge podcast. It's been a crazy weekend in the Premier League.
Moving
Speaking
on to
of
me.
speaking of things that we can't really control, VAR
VAR
once
in
again.
the full non
Nobody
name.
seems to have a control over VAR, but before we get to the 74th minute incident, we'll start with the Arsenal game was a very interesting one, and I'll start by saying that all this Chicken Little doomsday, oh my God, the sky is falling from Arsenal fans is really annoying. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
it's very very annoying because and this may sound sour grapes, but we won that game, and if we're not talking about VAR. What we're talking about is, oh, Brentford brought a real gritty, real strong, performance, but like champions do, Arsenal were able to pull out a 1-0 victory, and that's the conversation if VAR doesn't illegally award them a goal,
You know
and
what's? Go ahead.
well, I'm just saying that's the narrative that Arteta should be furthering in the dressing room. That's
Yeah,
where our heads should be.
I agree. You know, the funny thing is I mean, because I watched most of the game, but the first half, like in the first half, Brentford really were there. They played
They're
really
going
well in
for
the
it.
first half,
Yep.
but
Yep.
and then so they could have had more than the one they had that they didn't really have. But you know what I
They
mean.
should
You
have
know what I
scored
mean.
twice. They
Yeah.
100% should have had two
100%.
goals in the first half.
Yeah,
I
yeah. There
believe
was
you
a couple.
texted us that in the group. You were like, "Oh, dude, yeah, no, they should
Oh,
have
Yeah,
had
yeah.
they
goal."
were
Should have
good
been
in the
down
first
2-0 at
half.
half, for
Yep.
sure.
But the second half, that's not the same story. It's- and so it's funny because I think, and I don't know, I probably got a bunch of games wrong, but I think I did call the draw on this one. I
You got
I
this one
believe
right.
you
You
did.
got
I
Yes,
three
you
think I
did.
points.
called the
Holy
draw on this
cow!
one.
No way.
You
I
got
did.
3 points on this one. You called
But
the
Yeah,
one.
I said 3-1. I remember that.
but my rationale behind the draw was I said something goofy is gonna happen at the end, and I just
You
had
did.
a feeling about
You
that.
did.
I
Yeah.
had a feeling something goofy was going to, and the only reason is because remember, in the beginning, I said some of the luster of the City Arsenal game was gone because of all the allegation stuff and people couldn't focus. And I'm like, the only way you can make that game like game of the season again is by making it a close game. Because if Arsenal wins the game, Arsenal's up 3 points, and whatever City did, it didn't matter, right? Because then it's still the gap. But
Yep.
now, if you have Arsenal not lose, because you can't have them lose, but if you have them draw and now City wins and it's convincing, right? That next game will now make them possibly even on points, which
That's why
then
I
makes the
don't.
whole season that much more watchable because
So,
now
Oh yeah.
are
you
Do you
have.
you
remember when VAR came in? No,
are
no. Do you
you
remember
are
when
you
VAR came
starting
in?
to hint at
Yes.
something here?
Yes.
I am
Yes.
not
Because
hitting at
when
anything.
because when VAR came into the game, this was the exact argument to the fans against it becoming a part of this game because you can manipulate it, because it's still man-made, because it's still a man making that call behind the screen, they can get it wrong. And there's no one there to check them when they do get it wrong. So
There's
what's the
four other.
point?
No.
What's the point in
Don't give
VAR if
credit.
they can't
There's
overturn the
four other
decision?
people. There's four other
They
people in the booth.
Yeah,
There
but
was four
right,
other people
right.
up.
It's
and
not
and
one
the head
person. I'm
official
saying it's
doesn't have to take the VAR decision either.
yeah.
That's
Since
right,
when?
right? They make the final say, right?
Since when has I don't think that's ever been overturned where it was like
Well, no,
VAR
I'm
said
not
it's a
saying
goal.
they've overturned it, but I'm
Oh
pretty
no,
sure that the head official is the one
Yeah.
who makes the final
But
call.
on the
this is
offsides
blatant.
call,
That's
the head
blatant.
official is listening to whatever the VAR guy says.
Yeah.
It's
But they
blatant.
can
That
It's
see
needs
it.
to
blatant
be
here.
available
This
to the
game is
fans.
blatant. It's
I
blatant in
agree with
this
that.
one. It's blatant in this one. That's the only problem I have with it. That's the only time I agree with the whole conspiracy and all of this. How do you not call this man? Like again, it's blatant.
He forgot.
You don't forget. This is a championship game. This is
Human
a championship on the
error.
line. Every game Arsenal plays now is a championship game.
Well,
This is a championship game.
because they drew. Now it's a championship game. Everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
Against them
you
in
have one
City,
job.
against them in
You
United,
literally
because
have
y'all are about to
one
lose
job.
15 points.
You literally have one job. Like, how do
Right.
you like? I can't go to to the flipping burger. You can't flipping burgers use that excuse.
You want to
I
talk about
got the
money?
fresh Big Mac in the bag. Well, the guy's still gonna come back and cuss you out and get his refund, and there's gonna be
Yeah.
repercussions for it. So
You're
Lee
talking
Mason
about-
should
right.
be sacked.
You want to talk
100%
about
Yeah.
money? If I
should
did my
never
job
be
wrong,
on VAR
absolutely.
ever again.
100%.
What was the
100%.
line on that game? What was the line
Right.
on it?
Ivan Toney knows.
Two and a
Ivan
half,
Toney
I think.
definitely knows, and he
Yeah.
got it right.
He got it right.
I was
Def-
gonna say
I bet he
this though.
did.
Do y'all really think that Howard Webb talked to anybody, or he just called him up and said, "Hey, sorry," and left him a voicemail?
Yeah, he just left him a little text with
But-
a broken heart emoji.
But
Oh,
you know,
God.
I mean, seriously, I think talking about VAR in general, if there is a VAR decision that affects the game, that official should be available to the media right after the match.
I agree 100%.
They
Here's-
should have
that's-
to answer to that.
In no league have they ever allowed their officials to talk to the media for the
Ever.
following reason. It's because then at that point you can not only intimidate the referee, but you can influence them. And
You
so while I
publicly
don't
shame
agree,
him.
right, and while I don't agree, I agree with the premise that the referees should have to answer for it. I do agree with protecting them from the fans because I used to referee basketball, soccer, football, and parents are stupid. Now, I would fight a parent if they fought me, if they got on to me over a game. But we've seen referees get murdered, and
Yeah.
and so
Yeah. I mean,
because
Uruguay almost
fanatics
just
are
beat one to
crazy,
death
we
at the
have to
World
protect
Cup.
them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But no,
But
I agree with that. But there's got to be some accountability of some sort.
That's
You
a good
can't
person.
just be out here willy nilly making decisions and not feel the consequences of it either.
100%.
Because all we can say that this is a game. This is a game, and yes, it is a game. But you're talking about billions of dollars in play.
Right. If I did my job wrong, it's going
Billions.
to cost somebody 30, 40 grand. You're talking about billions of dollars.
But that 1 point, those 2 points though, could mean the difference
Oh, yeah.
between so much.
Yep.
Mhm.
What if that cost us 4th place?
Yeah.
That is monster money. If that cost you Champions League, if that cost the team Champions League,
You're
and
talking
all you
about
get
the
is a
difference of
sorry,
What
hundreds, right?
What
And all
if
you get
that?
is a
What if that
sorry?
keeps you up or keeps you down, or takes
Yeah,
you down?
exactly.
I
These
mean,
2
you're
points
talking
could
about
be huge.
massive money implications, and you can't just willy nilly
So-
say, "Oh,
it's so bad.
human error."
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
it doesn't
second
work
to
that
first
way.
isn't that big, but when it comes down to like being in the European places or surviving in the league, yeah, like it's reprehensible, and there's no excuse. There is no excuse. You
No
literally have one job. That's the only reason you're there. And I've heard all kinds of different. Oh, he took so long on the first one that he panicked and he didn't want to. So we just got to get on with it now. And then whatever. It's inexcusable. And Chris Foy, who is another very celebrated referee in the Premier League for years, was sitting right next to him.
It's blatant. It's
Sitting
blatantly.
right
I'm telling you,
next
this is
to the
blatant.
man. How does somebody not tap him on the shoulder? Hey, man, what about that one? And what
Hey,
about
what about
the next
that? Hey, what about
What
that
about the next
guy?
one?
Right?
You,
Right?
you didn't do your job. And so
Yeah.
you should 100% be fired and never allowed to do that
100%.
again. Like if this is, I don't understand if it's pretty much any other profession. If you do something that could be called gross negligence or incompetence, you would be fired. X, if you made some sort of huge mistake on your paperwork for Kia and it cost Kia thousands of dollars,
Thousands of
fine,
dollars. I'm telling you, yeah. If
fine,
I could, yeah, right. If I don't get your insurance information correctly, fired.
immediately.
Immediately expunged. This is blatant.
It's
Well,
bad.
the funny
It's bad
thing
news
is
there.
that, and I understand that this feels a little bit like a crescendo, but they've been doing calls like this all season. Like, I mean, the city offsides call against United. I was annoyed, and and because think about that. That's 3 points, man. That's 3 points. That changes everything. So
Yep.
there you can go to several calls. I think there was an Arsenal call and a Chelsea call early in the year where
The
they were just wrong.
non-Tottenham call Man,
They were
Cucurella
just
gets
wrong.
WWE'd across the field on a corner.
That leads
Nothing
to a
more.
goal.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Yes, and I'm obviously incensed, and I've had my moan and my wail about it or whatever. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, yes, we want more than a sorry, but they can't just be like, okay, here's your 2 points.
Nope.
Because
yeah.
then they'd have to go back and say, oh, well, the Tottenham goal shouldn't have counted because they ripped
That's a
Cuckoo down by his hair. Well,
dangerous
there's
precedent.
Chelsea's 2 points.
That's a
Oh, and
dangerous precedent.
here's City, here's your 3 points. And oh, we messed up over here. You can't do that. They just
Right.
can't
It's
start
just
doing that.
accountability. There has to be some form of accountability.
I agree that there's 100% should
I mean,
be
if the ref
accountability.
can veto it, that should be the check. It's like, no, I got this one right. No.
But here's what makes me mad about it the most. And it's doing it to us right here, right now. It's happening to us. This is just taken away from the game so
Yep.
much. And here we started talking about Arsenal 10 minutes ago, and we haven't even really talked about the game
Nope.
because of what the referees have done.
Did the sideline official raise his flag on this? No.
No.
No. So he
It
got it wrong.
wasn't like overturned or anything. They just
Right.
did. Yeah, they gave it as a
Wow.
goal, and the
Right.
goal
And they let
stood.
it stand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see.
Now-
Last point.
Meanwhile, in the
You
World Cup,
can't
somebody's
tell
fingernail
me.
could be offsides.
You can't tell me that it's human error when you have video evidence. That's not. I mean, human error is if the guy missed it, didn't raise his flag. But you can actually go back, take your little lines and everything, and that's not human error. That's
It's
egregious.
Not a
replay, bro.
subjective call.
It's egregious.
It's not.
Right.
It's just egregious at that point.
You're either off or you're not. It's not like, oh, it's not a clear and obvious error because he didn't. Maybe it's a foul, maybe it's not a foul. We'll go with the referee on this one and just uphold him. No, it's either off or not.
A funny thing is that these games move so fast now, and I get it. I mean, so we're asking the humans to do a lot of things, but not only do they move so fast, but there's a funny, and I didn't see it until like I went to Philly to watch the Super Bowl, which I left early, but I went to Philly to watch the game. Now there was a catch. I think it was in the game. There was a
Yes.
catch where they say he didn't have control, and I
That's
watched
correct.
it live, and I'm watching it as a neutral, and just based on the rules, I was like, it's not a catch. Like the first
Where he
thing I saw, I was
bobbled it
like,
and then ran outside,
right,
ran out
because
of
he
bounds.
bobbled it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
because he took 2 steps, he
Had
bobbled
it.
it. When he did get control, he had it next to his helmet, but he only had 1 foot in, and the next
Right.
time he had the ball, he hit the ground and he was out of bounds. And I'm like,
Right.
well, based on the rule, he's out of bounds. Every single person where I was said he caught it. Everyone is like, there's two. I'm like, he doesn't have control though. I mean, that's the rule, and so we have to look at. They saw the rule from their perspective. And so in their world, no matter what I said to them, I was going to be wrong. I didn't say anything
Right.
because I'm in Philly and I'm a stupid, but it was, to everyone, it was a catch. And I kind of looked and I was like, and I said to my girlfriend, I'm like, he didn't catch the ball. I mean, it was a good catch. And without the video technology,
Sure.
they wouldn't have called that. But because I have video, to go to Patrick's point, because they have video and I can see, based on the rules you made, that he didn't catch it,
Yep.
they called it not a catch. And the funny thing is people complained about the end of the Super Bowl where they said, oh, well, he didn't hold him. But he did. I mean, even though it didn't look like he impeded him, but he pulled him, and you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
That's the rule. And people was like, oh, you should let him play. No, you can't tell me to let him play for
Not
this
on
one.
something like offsides. It's black and
And not
white.
the other one.
It is literally
And that's what
night and day. Offside. You're either offside, like Jake said. This is not like a foul. It's not like a Tomori Chelsea incident where we're in the Champions League. It's like, oh, did he pull him that hard? It's like, this is black and white. This has been black and white in the league and in the rule book since it was created in the 1800s, because Germany's just like they used to pickpocket people and they had to create an offsides rule. Like, this has been it's black and white. You're offside, you're not. We've seen people be, and this is the saddest thing, and I'm gonna wrap up this real quick. We've seen people be offsides by a fingernail. This is a whole body. This is a whole gap in space. But it's super sad because because We spent X amount of time. This is so egregious in this moment. It took unlike our game, ours was egregious, but we have some highlight. Like this literally is all anyone is talking about inside of this Arsenal game here is how egregious this call is, how the offside shouldn't have been there. Should have been there. It's just bad. It's where the game's going now. It's all about the medial sensation about what call was made, not how well Bakio Saka actually really did play, but didn't end up on the board today.
It definitely takes away from the game. But speaking of the game, I thought that it went exactly like we expected. Exactly like we expected it to go. Credit to my man Ivan Toney.
I'm telling you, my man Ivan.
He's going to be on a top 6 team next year.
Yeah.
We're going to buy him.
I'm okay with us buying him.
Where the guy's looking around the tree like this. That's Todd Bowley looking at Ivan Toney right now.
Yes.
He's going to get him out of all that betting stuff, and he's going to come to Chelsea.
I'll be the first to say he gave Saliba, Gabriel, it didn't matter who was on him. He gave him an absolute fit. Just he ran us over. There's no getting around it. I don't think we won an aerial duel.
He was killing it.
If Toney was underneath the ball, we didn't win the first one. Now, in the first half, they won most of the second balls in the first half. That's why we weren't able to pin them in. We weren't able to keep possession very well because they were winning a lot of the second balls, and that's how they were getting those chances. Ivan Toney hits it off the post for the second one. The guy that was in the box who hit it wide from 5 yards out, like, should have scored. We should have been down 2-0 at halftime. And we all knew that's how Brentford played. We knew exactly what was coming.
Yep.
And so I thought that I definitely thought we turned it up in the second half. And it was simple. Once we won a couple of second balls in a row, and we had them pinned in, and so many people are saying, "Oh, Arsenal can't break down the low block." Well, we can't get. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Did you watch it? Yeah. So and it ended up being a real simple play too. Overlap the man on the right, and the guy falls asleep on the back post. We're there for the tap in. And it seems really simple, but I will say this: the tactics from Brentford off of the ball, against the ball, really annoying. That's really annoying. Like, are you really playing like Leicester right now? Come on, guys. How many times?
First of all, sir,
how many
Leicester
times did
is
Thomas
moving up.
Partey
but Leicester's on the move
and run 60 yards with it without being uncontested? Thomas Partey would pick the ball up in the back and run 60 yards uncontested as they just gave ground until they had 10 guys in the box. Like, that is just, it's scared. You're just scared, straight up scared to come out and play. City aren't going to do that. City won't play like that.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely. I was going to say, just kind of talking about Toney, can you still believe that he did not make that World Cup squad? I mean, can you imagine him and Rashford playing off each other?
The whole year because of that.
Shocking.
Does Toney sink the PK, or somebody doesn't take it and Harry Kane because he's not there?
I think he doesn't play. I think that he wouldn't even play. I don't think.
You don't think he plays off of Kane?
You already saw he was playing favorites. No. He wouldn't have played.
He wouldn't have played. Because of the coach. You're exactly right. It's not about production. It's because
I don't know, man. I don't know. You just can't start him over Kane. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. Like, unfortunately, he's such a different player and he offers something different, but Kane is just Harry Kane, And
but Toney was distributing pretty well in that game too. So I think it's underrated how well he distributes the ball.
I'm a fan.
I love Ivan
Toney. You can ask from the beginning of this podcast.
From the rip of the
man Ivan.
I have rated Ivan Toney for sure.
Yep. He's said it time and time again. Oh, that's who you need to buy. That's who you need to buy. That's who you need to buy.
And he ripped us apart. Look, one of the best defenses in the league. He manhandled us.
When's
my man
sport date?
Praise after praise.
End of the season now.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not even like he's winning, he's jumping up and winning headers. He's just like making himself big and backing up and backing up and backing up and backing up, and nobody can handle him. Nobody can
Sounds like Drogba.
get in front of him. That's what caused the free kick where they got their goal, their illegal goal.
Their illegal goal.
Because Toney, arguably, this wasn't even a foul because Toney had Gabriel wrapped like this. Tony's arms, he's got his hands clasped behind his back.
You're mine.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gabrielle was also doing this, so it was a WWE wrestling match. And we were unlucky to come off, giving away the foul. It's clever, but that's what Toney does. Like we know this. The defensive coach in during the week should have been like, look, this is what's coming. Yep. We know this is what he's gonna do. But again, like I said, we just didn't win the second ball. And that's how, when you win the second ball over and over and over again, 5, 6, 7 times in succession, what will you hear the commentator say? Oh, Brentford just can't get out. They just can't get out. And it's that just relentless press. Oh, here come Arsenal again because they've got the ball already. They just can't. You just can't. And that's how you wear teams down. That's how Man City wears teams down. That's how Liverpool wore teams down when they won their title, when they were just in your face always. And I think it's a very, very good strategy. And I have heard some people claiming that we should switch the formation for Wednesday. We should change things up. It hasn't been working. I disagree 100% because City aren't playing the low block. We've struggled against the low block, but City aren't going to do that.
It's going to be open. This game's going to be open.
Oh, it's going to be. This
is
going to be.
Scared of
I already
us
got the popcorn waiting. Already got the popcorn at my desk.
Not even a little
waiting.
bit.
It's going to be wide open.
I mean, what do you know about this, Lewis? Holland got a little thigh thing? Got a little knock or something going on?
They pulled him off at half because of that, because he was getting it worked on during one of the breaks.
Yeah.
But they pulled him off as a precaution, and he's fine. They made sure he was, and they just want him to be ready for Wednesday. And so he'll be there. And the funny thing is, and I don't know if we're not there yet, so I'll wait.
No, not quite.
I'll wait.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
But at the end of the day, I think as far as you want to talk about who deserved to win this game, I think a draw is a good deserved result. But I will say that in spite of that, we did, as far as, we can't break down the low block. Oh, Brentford, we're better. Hey, we broke down the low block. We scored a legal goal. They didn't. And that should be what Arteta's preaching in the locker room. Look, we were, the last 3 games we haven't been great, but we went toe-to-toe with City after 6 changes. We fell prey to a new manager bounce, and it's clear that it was a new manager bounce because we saw the performance today. And we'll get to that as well.
Yeah.
And then we're robbed. And so you could look at it, it's run a crappy form, crappy results, or you could be like, look, we've played well and we've gotten a little bit unlucky. And so I still think that we can be confident going into Wednesday. We'll go ahead and wrap it right there. Lots of exciting stuff coming up this week. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, get the notification bell on. I know that I've had a good time on this one. Hope you have enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Always good.